Megaman 3. Probably my favorite game in the classic collection. But I'm not here to talk about that. Let's talk about the first Robot Master I always go to. That would definitely be Top Man. But, you know, everybody has their preference. Some people go to Magnet Man. Personally, I actually like to get the Top Spin as quickly as I can. It's crazy, right? Most people seem to just, you know, call it the worst weapon in the entire classic series. I find the Spark Shock is actually way worse. I'm probably in a very small minority here that actually like the Top Spin. But most people don't like the Top Spin because of its unpredictability. Well, I'm actually here to decipher it for you guys, just in case you were wondering a little bit about how it works. Before I start, I just want to do a little defending. The Top Spin is very useful in Shadow Man stage. You can kill these little jumpy guys. You can also kill these, walking eye guys. And unfortunately, you can't kill those hard hats and bulldozers and all the bigger enemies most of the time. Word of advice, before I start to explain how it works, if the enemy doesn't die in one hit from the Top Spin, unless it's a boss, it's not immune. I'll just tell you that much. That's how they programmed it. It's pretty smart that way. Or I guess you could say it's not that smart. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. The Top Spin is not the most useless weapon in my opinion. But again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about how it works. Now, how does it work, you might ask? Well, here's how. From what I can gather, the Top Spin actually, well, I think you've seen it from my playthrough, it doesn't actually deplete energy when you're not using it against an enemy. You can spin as much as you want, and that's kind of fun sometimes. You know, you can just pretend like, you know, you can't reach a ladder or something, so you jump and spin, kind of like Mario Galaxy. Anyways, so it only depletes energy when you come in contact with an enemy. That part you probably know. Even if you didn't, well, there you go. But that's not enough yet. We still need to understand why it's so unpredictable even on the enemies it can work against. Well, this normal stage enemies will not make it unpredictable. It will always deplete 1 bar of weapons energy if you're using it against a stage enemy that dies in 1 hit from it. Again, if you're using it against an enemy that is not weak to it or does not die in 1 hit, in other words, then it will become unpredictable. For the reason that, for every single frame that you're coming in contact with the enemy and using the Top Spin, it's depleting energy. Now the reason it can be so unpredictable is because sometimes, most of the time in fact, the amount of frames that you're using the Top Spin against the enemy can vary. For example, the normal stage enemies that will die in 1 hit from the Top Spin, that's not unpredictable at all. It will always take 1 weapon's energy bar. And the reason that is because you're only using 1 single frame of animation that Megaman is touching the enemy and spinning. Because after 1 frame the enemy is dead. For bosses, however, especially Shadow Man, it's a very bad idea to use Top Spin when you're in your invincibility state. The reason is, even for stage enemies that aren't immune, the first time you're going to try to use it against them, it will only deplete 1 bar of weapons energy from your Top Spin, and you'll get hurt, and the enemy won't be weakened whatsoever. Now that's just because you're stopping yourself. Megaman is getting hurt, so he's stopping himself from using more Top Spin. However, when Megaman is in his flashing invincibility state, he can't stop himself from using the Top Spin. Therefore, when you're in your invincibility state and use a Top Spin, there's nothing stopping you or the enemy from coming in contact. And that can pretty much explain the main reason why it's so unpredictable, just because of how you cannot stop yourself from coming in contact with the enemy if you're in your invincibility state. And that's why sometimes when you're fighting Shadow Man and you just sort of see your Top Spin completely go off the wall and just lower as fast as it can, that's because you're just not stopping yourself from using the Top Spin against him. And it's not even doing damage sometimes. Sometimes you're just using it while you and him are both in your invincibility frame state. just to explain what I'm talking about, why don't we just watch this little clip right here of me trying to spin into this mech on a bulldozer. As you can see, my top spin just completely depleted as fast as it could. But why is that? Well, let's go frame by frame to show. I'm using my top spin every single frame after I got hit. The first time when I got hit, I just used 1 bar of top spin because Megaman stopped himself immediately, realizing that that enemy did not die immediately just by 1 spin. But the next time, he couldn't stop himself because he's in that invincibility state. Therefore, you could see the top spin depleting. My video capture software for my computer is a little bad with the frame rate sometimes, so unfortunately it's a little hard to tell how many bars per frame. It's probably just 1, but it seems like it's doing more as time went on. But is that the case? I'm not entirely sure, but what we can say so far is that it definitely depends on how long you're hitting the enemy and how many frames it's lasting for. Just as a side note, you can see that doesn't work on these bees. Enemy I thought that it would actually work against, but apparently no. Kind of strange. Oh god, now they're ganging up on me. Guys, I didn't really mean it. Like, will you just let me get out? Come on. Ugh. Come on, guys. You're gonna kill me down here. You thank you for making me survive in this bed of spikes, but come on. Jesus, I hate you bees. I didn't mean it that way.